Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2. Today we would like to present our project for the course of accounting theory. Next slide, please. So for this project is about case study regarding the implementation of accounting theory on financial information needs in micro, small, medium enterprise, which is the classic bread bakery in here. Next slide, please. So our group is consists of four members. My name is NURZAYNI, and there's also three of my friends.
My name is Ramayana Marsa.
My name is NAVISA SADRA.
My name is ADEK WAHYUNI.
Okay, next. So for the chapter 1 is about introduction. For the background, accounting theory is essential in guiding the preparation and evaluation of financial statements, ensuring they are relevant, reliable, and comparable. It provides a framework to assess whether accounting practices meet the objectives of financial reporting. The classic bread bakery and cake shop is a family-owned business established in 2008 in Padang, specializing in bread and cake production. Despite operating for over a decade, the business still relies on manual recording for critical activities such as sales transaction, raw material purchases, payroll, and production. These manual processes limit efficiency and increase the risk of errors in financial reporting. As a result, the financial information produced may lack accuracy and reliability. These projects aim to analyze the company's current accounting practices using accounting theory as a basis, evaluate their conformity with established principles, and provide recommendations to improve financial reporting quality and operational control. Next. And for the problem formulation, this to understand and overcome the challenges faced by the classic bread bakery in financial reporting. Researchers formulate several main problems, namely, first, are there financial reports prepared by the classic bread bakery? Second, what is the quality of the financial reports currently produced by the classic bread bakery? Third, what are the main challenges faced by the classic bread bakery in preparing financial reports? The fourth, how is accounting theory applied in the classic bread bakery financial reports? And next, for the research purpose, to understand and overcome the challenges faced by the classic bread bakery in financial reporting, researchers formulated several main objectives, namely, first, to find out the availability of the classic bread bakery financial reports. Second, to evaluate the quality of the classic bread bakery financial reports. Third, to identify the main challenges in preparing the classic bread bakery financial reports. Fourth, to analyze the impact of applying accounting theory in the classic bread bakery financial reports. Next. And the research benefit. Here, the principal advantages of this research are as follows. First, for the classic bread bakery, namely, it could be improving the quality of financial reports and also can be better for decision making and the compliance with regulation. And for researchers and academics, there also has the benefits, namely, first, sources of empirical data in implementation of accounting theory, and then add to literature related to micro, small, medium enterprises, and then development of accounting theory related to micro, small, medium enterprises. Next. So in here, we also find the literature review to support our report of this project. So here are several that we find for this project. That's all. Next. And next, the chapter 2 is will explain by NAVISA.
Okay, thank you, Zaini. So for the next explanation will explain by me. Chapter 2 is about methodology. So the research design of this project is start with problem identification and initial literature review, and then data collection planning, and then data collection interview, and then analysis data and interpretation, conclusion and recommendation, and last one is reporting. And here's users this research use a qualitative design with a case study approach on the classic bread bakery according to experts and card 2019. Qualitative research is an interactive process that builds understanding by getting closer to the subject. So here's we use the qualitative research from interview. Next. So the research method is the type of data required in this study is primary data, which is collected through direct interview with the owner of the classic bread bakery. The selection was based on the researcher's familiarity with both the owner and the operational process. Furthermore, this business meets the essential criteria for MSMEs. It has a relatively complex workflow, employs several staff members, and look well-organized accounting record. Therefore, the classic bread bakery was chosen as the subject. So here the data collection planning. First one is MSME profile. So here's the several question for the profile. It's about owner's name, when it's found, what industry are what the industry and number of employee, form of business, business workflow, and are profit separate. And about the equity, we have a several question like in this table, how much is the initial business capital, who provide the capital, is there an obligation to report the business, and so on, so on. Next. So here's for the other items, we have data for asset and liability that we collect from the question, this question, several question. First one for asset is what type of the asset are owned, and how do you acquire large asset? Is there a record, and is the age measure for the possession? Do you know the current value of your asset? How is the value record? If a business asset is damaged or impaired, how do you handle it? And so on. That about all about asset, like such as depreciation and others. So the next one is liability. So here's the several question to record the liability. First one is, are there any current liabilities such as like capital, trade, debt, now or in the past? Or if so, where did it come from? For why and how long did it take? And then the is that the liability separately record from personal liabilities, and the record all liabilities or account payable in detail or no, and so on. So you get also the question to collect the data of asset and liability as in this table. Next. Also, here's we have two item more to collect the data. It's about revenue and expense. So the questions, here's several questions to collect the data from revenue and expense. For revenue, it's like, what are the type of income? What is the main income of the business? Are the other business beside bakery? Or when are sales record? Is there an account receivable system, and so on. And the last one is we are collect data about the expense, how the owners pay the expense and how the owners calculate the expense, what type of payment, are it's credit or no, and what is the payroll system like, and do the owner proof of transactions such as a receipt to record expense. It's like is the owner's record expense depend on evidence that they receive or others. So next. So here's in the chapter 3, we make the result of our project and our data that we have collect. So here's the finding is after carefully design the data collection procedures and preparing a structured set of interview questions, the researchers proceed to conduct a face-to-face interview with the business owner at the premise of the classic bakery. This deep interview aimed to obtain detailed insight into the background, daily operation, and management practice of the business. By engaging directly with the owner, the researchers was able to gather comprehensive and first-hand information that contributes to constructing and well-run business profile. The data obtained from this interaction serves uh, as a crucial foundation for future further analysis in the context of this study. Okay, next. So here's the finding from profile. The data is collect from the interview that we did it. So the question, the data is the business name is the Classic Bread Bakery. The owners is Unita Welsantri, established in 2009. In this industry is include in bakery. The number of employees is 12. They have 12 employees. This firm of business is MSME and address in Jalan Pondok Kopi number 272 Steba, Padang, West Sumatra. And this the personal contact. So based on the list of question previously created, we have obtained information about this business. So maybe the next information will explain by Yona. Thank you.
Okay, this is the all the question regarding interview with the owner of the classic bakery. We're conducting this interview to obtain the detailed information about the classic bakery. The response from the owner will be available in assessing whatever the classic bakery has effectively and accurately for implementation of the accounting theory and managing its business practice or business operation, and also this insight will help evaluate the alignment of the between theoretical accounting principle and their practices application within the classic bakery day-to-day activity. So for the question, the interview regarding the equity, there are 11 questions about the how much is initial business capital. So the initial capital for the in 29 is capital amount is 25 million, who provide the capital only provided by the owner. And so for the question for equity is needed for the answer regarding how the owner operate the equity in day-to-day activity for the operation in the business. And then for the asset, the question regarding asset, for example, like what type of asset are owned. So the assets such as the asset for the classic bakery is such as cars, bakery equipment and machine, furniture and fixture, and also building the improvement. And how do the owner acquire large asset is by new or leasing or asset financing through hire purchases. And so many question about regarding the asset is really important for the answer of the owner is needed for us to evaluate how the owner operate their asset. And then This is the answer the question for the liability regarding the interview with the owner. For example, like are there any current liability? Could be capital, trade, debt, nor in the past. Based on the answer from the owner, the liability exists in the present and the past, and also the and also the owner has no one of the liability. The liability just with the family. The loan was borrowed from family members mainly to purchase new asset, to replace damaged one, or to support business expansion by developing new product variants. The borrowing period was approximately 1 year. So there is no the long-term liability is exists in the classic bakery. And also for the revenue, the revenue for the question regarding revenue will be answered how the classic bakery answer the operate day-to-day operation regarding the revenue. So the conclusion from the question regarding revenue is the revenue is based on the bakery revenue, premium honey dash, and also there is a frozen food from classic bakery. And the main income of the business also from the bakery, and the sales recorded for the revenue in the classic bakery is every 3 days. And also, for the question regarding expand during interview there is a conclusion about the type of payment. For example, like for the question one, what the type of payment are met, which are and are not routine. So the answer from the owner is the classic bakery doing the payment is routine payment for the raw material, for the supplier, for example, like bread cups. And for the non-routine, there is electricity, water, and also plastic when it's the run out. So and also for the expand payroll system is pay monthly. And also, if the bread production machine breaks down, who is the responsible? So the answer from the owner is the owner is responsible and no loss recorded for the expense. And also, I asking the question regarding, in your opinion, does recording expense help in making business decision? For example, in terms of efficiency or saving. So the owner answer is yes, because expense that are greater than expected will be affect business decision. For example, like making bread is cost more than the sale of bread is doesn't cover to the cost incurred. And the next, for data analysis and interpretation, based on the interview data, it can be concluded that the classic bakery is a small-scale, owner-funded business with informal financial practice. So the initial capital is 25 million, comes solely from the owner with no written agreement or outside investor involved. Out of the additional capital has been injected through loan from family members. This transaction not formally recorded or documented. This informal approaches also extended to business asset management, where assets such as bakery machine, vehicle, and equipment are acquired through purchase or leasing, but no depreciation or important is calculated. And there is no regular evaluation. And then furthermore, some assets are used for business and personal purposes, which is contradict the principle of economic entity in the accounting. And then on next is data analysis and interpretation for the liability, including loss and trade payable, exist but not formally separated from personal obligation, nor are they recorded in detail, such as installment amount or due dates. This lack of structure doesn't comply with international accounting standard like IAS 1 and also IAS 37, which require clear recognition and measurement of liability. And also, in terms of revenue, the business generates income primarily from bakery sales, with additional income from other product. And also sales record regularly every 3 days, and some product level profit tracking exists. And however, there is no account receivable system in place, and also profit are not clearly separated from the personal use. And expense management is partly structured with distinction between routine and non-routine expenses, and monthly payroll is implemented. The owner use receipt for recording expenditure and prepare simple budget that are generally followed. Despite this, there is no detailed classification of costs, for example, like administrative, marketing, and so on, and as unexpected expense rarely documented. And for the overall, the classic bakery rely on the practical, informal approaches to final management. While these practices are common among microbusiness, the absence of systematic accounting, formal documentation, and adherence to standard limit the business ability to assess financial health, plan for growth, or access external funding. As the business develops, implementing more formal accounting system will be essential for ensuring transparency, efficiency, and sustainability. Okay, maybe that's all for me. For the chapter 4 about discussion, will be explained by ADEK.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Yona. So the next chapter is chapter 4, discussion. So based on the data that has been gathered, the researcher process to carry out in-depth analysis focusing on the use of accounting information. As examined with the scope of accounting theory, the present study will seek to investigate how the classic bakery applies accounting information in its daily business operation and how this practice align the theoretical principle of accounting. So this analysis is also part of learning process within the accounting theory course, where the researcher has studied various fundamental concepts, including the objective of financial reporting and the definitions and rules of capital, asset, liabilities, income, and expense. This concept serves as the basic for evaluating the accounting practice observed in the field. To ensure the clarity and systematic presentation, the researcher has the categories the analysis of each accounting element and compile the finding into the following table format. So the first accounting element here it is equity. So the finding in equity of the classic bakery is the business was started with a capital of 25 million rupiah from the owner herself. No other parties have invested, and a simple financial reported is prepared based on the sales research. Proof of business ownership comes in the form of SKU from the village. Additional capital has been obtained through the family loans, but not officially recorded. Business profits are partly used to develop the business, while some are taken personally or brief. The owner realized the importance of recording capital and changes in capital to measure business development. So the critical implementation accounting theory in equity of the classic bakery, it is in terms of accounting theory, this business is in accordance with some basic principles such as the separations of business entity, the owner or the entity concept, the use of historical capital, and the intention to continue the business or the going concern concept. However, the financial recording is still simple and not in the accordance with the principle of full disclosure and accrual basis recommended by the ISB and SVAC. In addition, financial reports have not been made regularly and formally, and capital changes and loan transactions are not clearly documented. Going forward, more organized and systematic record keeping will help the business grow and be better prepared for bigger financial or cooperation needs. And the second accounting element it is asset. So the classic bakery owns assets such as the vehicle, bakery machine, furniture, and building improvement. These assets are acquired through the purchase, leasing, or hire purchase. There is no formal recording of the purchase or impairment. Asset value are only estimated. If an asset is damaged, it is either repaired or replaced. When sold or written off, the transaction is recorded manually. Some assets are also used for personal purposes. Nevertheless, asset information is still considered in business decision making. So the critical implementations of asset is the classic bakery has not formally implemented ISB standard such as IS 16 and IS 36. Asset recording is not yet based on the historical cost and depreciation or impairment asset impairment assessment have not been applied. Asset-related transactions are generally recorded manually in a simple manner. In general, asset management is carried out in practical way, aligned with the operational needs of the business. The recording process doesn't yet fully reflect formal accounting theory, and the use of asset remains flexible between the business and personal purposes. Moving toward a more systematic application of accounting principle could support business growth and financial transparency in the future. Next. Next, we go to the liabilities. It is the classic bakery has informal short-term liabilities, mainly from family loan used for the asset purchase and business expansions. There's no formal recording or separation between business and personal debt. Other liabilities include the supplier, payables, rent, and unpaid wages. Cash flow is managed by consistently collecting payments from the consignment stores. So the critical implementations of liabilities in the classic bakery has not formally applied ISB standard in the managing liabilities. Obligations such as family loans and trade payable are recorded informally with no clear separation between the business and personal debt. While formal documentation is lacking, the business relies on trust-based practice and simple strategies like collecting payment from the consignment stores to manage the obligations. And for the revenue, based on the interview result, the classic bread has various type of income, namely from the sales of the bakery product, premium honey dates, and the frozen food. Although there are several product lines, the main revenue come from the bakery business. The classic bread doesn't have any other business outside of the aforementioned food areas and doesn't use a credit sales system. So there are no accounts receivable. Sales recording is done every 3 days, which indicate the product to not daily recording. In terms of finance, business profit are currently not separated from the personal finance, which risk creating uncertainty in financial analysis and decision making. However, recording of profit by product type, such as example between the bread and pudding, has been done, indicating an awareness of analyzing the profitability per product. So the critical implementations of revenue in general, this bakery business practice is still in the basic stage of applying accounting. The main weakness lies in the lack of the separations of personal business finance and the lack of an accrual-based recording system. However, the recording of profit per product saw a good first step toward a more comprehensive applications of accounting theory. Educations and improvement are needed so the accounting practice such as the separations entities, accrual, and periodizations can be applied consistently in this business. Next, we go to the last element, it is expense. So this bakery business has managed routine payments such as raw material and supplies well and doesn't use a credit system. Salaries are paid monthly and expenses are usually in accordance with the budget made. Despite using receipts, the business has not separated costs by type such as the productions, marketing, and etc. Not separated business from personal finance. Damage to the equipment is handled directly by the owner without recording losses. Even so, the owner realized the importance of recording costs for efficiency and decision making, especially in assessing which product are profitable or not. And the critical implementation is this bakery business demonstrate a basic understanding of accounting such as the use of transaction evidence and budgeting. But the applications of accounting theory is still limited. The lack of separations of personal and business finance violates the entity principle, while the absence of cost classification and recording of losses violates the principle of full and prudent recording. This can obscure financial information and hinder efficiency analysis. While there is awareness that recording costs is important for decision making, more complete accounting practice is still need to be implemented to make the financial statement more accurate and useful. Next. So we can conclude that the Classic Bakery is a small business that has sound awareness of the importance of financial record, but the implementation is still simple and informal. The business capital comes from the owner herself with additional family loans, but there is no formal recording of changes in capital and debt. Financial reports have not been prepared regularly, and recording is still limited to cash transactions and sales reports. Asset management is done practically according to a personal need without the applications of depreciation or impairment assessment in accordance with the ISB standards such as IS 16 and IS 36. Some assets are used for the personal purposes, which indicated a violations of the principle of separations of entities. Liabilities are recorded informally, especially those from family, and there's no clear separation business and personal debts. Meanwhile, revenue are recorded regularly but are not yet accrual basis, and there is no financial separation between the business and the owner, which might lead the uncertainty in the analysis business profit. On the expense side, there is a fairly good management of routine and budget expense, but recording has not been classified according to the type of expense and has not taken into account losses from the asset damage. Okay, next we go to the last chapter. It is chapter 5 conclusions. Summary of this project, the Classic Bakery, as a micro business that has been operating for quite some time, demonstrate that operational longevity doesn't necessarily equate to financial maturity. Although the business generate revenue from multiple product line, its accounting practice remain significant misaligned with the fundamental accounting principle. Capital contributions and family loans are undocumented, fixed assets are not depreciated, liabilities like proper record, and personal business finance are intertwined, posing like a serious risk of financial misrepresentations. Current record keeping is reactive and limited to immediate operational needs, rather than serving as a tool for the long-term strategic decision making. While the owner appeared to understand the importance of financial documenting, this awareness has yet to be translated into structure and systematic implementations. If left unaddressed, such as practice could hinder the business growth, cause like internal confusions, and reduce the business credibility with external parties such as financial institutions or potential partners. Next. So our recommendations for the Classic Bakery must transition from an informal, trust trust-based financial approach to an accountable and principle-based accounting system. The first critical step is to establish clear financial separation between the personal and business activity. Without this, financial report will never accurately reflect the business true condition. Furthermore, all the capital injections, debt, and asset must be properly recorded and supported by recommendations not merely for the neatness, but to ensure they are auditable, measurable, and justifiable. The business should also begin classify expense by functions such as the production, marketing, and administrative to enable the efficiency analysis. Financial literacy training is not optional but essential for the owner to make the rational and data data-driven decisions. Without significant improvement in its accounting practice, the Classic Bakery risks stagnations and may struggle to remain the competitive in a business environment that increasingly demand transparency and accountability. Next. So here our reference based on this projects. So maybe that's all from group 2. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.